Most holidays mean beaches and cocktails. You know the drill: sun on your face, sand between your toes, and a drink in your hand with a tiny umbrella. It's the classic escape: relaxation, warmth, and the gentle sound of waves. For most people, that's the dream. But for some reason, I decided to do the exact opposite. So why did I swap my sofa for the Swedish Arctic, where the air hurts your face and the sun barely shows up? It's the kind of place where your eyelashes freeze together if you blink too slowly, and the wind feels like it's personally offended by your presence. My friends thought I was out of my mind. "You're leaving your cozy apartment for what exactly, hypothermia?" they asked. But I was determined. I was lured by a photo of the northern lights. Magical, yes, but with a real risk of frostbite. The colors in the sky looked unreal, like someone had painted them just to tempt travelers like me. I imagined myself standing under that swirling green and purple, feeling like I'd discovered a secret only the bravest get to see. The reality, of course, is that you're also standing in the kind of cold that makes you question your life choices. I packed every warm thing I owned, which wasn't nearly enough. My suitcase looked like I was preparing for an expedition to the moon, stuffed with thermal underwear, wool socks, and enough scarves to wrap around the globe. Still, as I layered up inside, I realized nothing truly prepares you for Arctic cold. It's a cold that seeps into your bones no matter how many layers you wear. My destination, the land of the Sami, so far north even Google Maps hesitates. I wanted something authentic. I craved a place untouched by tourist crowds, where ancient traditions still shape daily life. The Sami people have thrived here for centuries, herding reindeer and telling stories by firelight. I wanted to see that world for myself, to step into a landscape that felt both wild and welcoming, even if it was a little intimidating. I just didn't realize authentic meant shivering non-stop. Every breath felt like inhaling tiny icicles, and my fingers went numb within minutes. Even indoors, the cold found ways to sneak in, making every cup of hot tea feel like a small victory. But there's a strange thrill in it too, a sense of accomplishment just for surviving the day. The journey north was humbling. Cities faded to villages, then just endless snow and trees. The further I traveled, the more the world seemed to slow down. Trains creaked through frozen landscapes and roads twisted through forests that looked like something out of a fairy tale. It was beautiful, but also a little eerie, as if I was leaving the familiar world behind and entering a place ruled by nature. It's the kind of place where you start to believe in trolls, because what else is there to do? The silence and the shadows play tricks on your mind. Every snow-laden tree looks like it could come alive at any moment. With so much time to think, your imagination runs wild, and suddenly, the stories you heard as a kid don't seem so far-fetched. Stepping off the plane, the silence hit me, broken only by crunching snow and chattering teeth. There's a kind of peace in that quiet, a reminder that you're far from the noise of everyday life. Every step felt like an adventure, every breath a challenge. The cold was relentless, but so was my curiosity. This wasn't a holiday, it was a survival challenge I paid for. Each day brought new tests, navigating icy paths, learning to light a fire with frozen fingers, and figuring out how to keep my camera from freezing. But with every challenge I felt a little braver, a little more alive. But sometimes, the most uncomfortable places teach you the most. I learned to appreciate small comforts, a warm meal, a friendly smile, the glow of a fire after a long, cold day. I discovered that stepping out of your comfort zone isn't just about the destination, but about finding new parts of yourself along the way. And let's be honest, I went to the Arctic Circle sounds way cooler than I stayed home. Sometimes the best stories come from the places that challenge you the most, and those are the ones you'll never forget. Before Sweden, my knowledge of the Sami was limited. Colorful hats, reindeer, and not much else. The Sami are the indigenous people of the Arctic, surviving here for thousands of years. They're the ultimate cold weather experts. Meeting a Sami family in their lavvu, warmed by fire and coffee, felt like entering another world. Their traditional dress, the gakti, tells stories: where you're from, your family, even your relationship status. The Sami see nature as a living entity, not just a backdrop. They don't own the land, they're part of it. Their culture is built on burgayupmi, coping, making do, and resilience. They have 8 seasons, each tied to the reindeer's life cycle. It's a sophisticated system, not just tradition. My coping mechanism is ordering takeout. Theirs is surviving the Arctic. These people are the real deal. Reindeer aren't just for Christmas. They're the heart of Sami life. Food, transport, clothing, culture, reindeer are everything. I tried reindeer sledding, it's less peaceful ride, more hang on for dear life. My guide Lars said, don't let go. Good advice. The reindeer set the pace, you just try to keep up. Yes, they eat reindeer. Survival means nothing goes to waste. I tried bidos, a hearty reindeer stew, delicious and warming. The Sami know their reindeer by sight, not tags, a living library of knowledge. It's a partnership. The people protect the herds provide for the people. This bond has lasted millennia. It's a masterclass in respect and necessity. We could all learn from this balance. Sorry, Rudolph. In the Arctic, the sun is unpredictable, either working overtime or vanishing for weeks. I visited during polar night, no sunrise, just hours of blue and pink twilight. It's hauntingly beautiful, but your body clock gives up. Is it 2 p.m. or 2 a.m.? Who knows? Just have more coffee. The midnight sun is the opposite, endless daylight, impossible to sleep. Locals use blackout curtains, but the light always finds a way in. Life here follows the sun, not the clock. During polar night, life turns inward. Storytelling, reflection, community. During midnight sun, everyone soaks up every ray, storing energy for winter. It's a rhythm that makes the modern 9 to 5 seem absurd. Here, you live by the light, even when it's gone. It's a beautiful, slightly insane way to exist, and it changes how you see time. Wearing traditional Sami clothing was a highlight, and honestly a hilarious challenge I'll never forget. I'd always admired the vibrant colors and intricate patterns of the gakti, but I had no idea just how complicated it would be to actually put one on. The process started out simple enough but quickly turned into a test of patience, dexterity, and humility. The gakti is beautiful, but getting dressed felt like solving a puzzle with mittens. Every button, tie, and layer seemed to have its own secret code, and my fingers, already clumsy from the cold, were no match for the tiny, intricate fastenings. I fumbled, twisted, and tugged, all while trying not to look completely lost in front of my gracious Sami hosts. Boots made of reindeer hide are stuffed with grass for warmth, ancient tech but tricky to master. Watching a Sami elder expertly pack the boots with dried grass made it look easy, but when I tried, I ended up with grass poking out at odd angles and a boot that felt more like a lumpy pillow than proper footwear. I ended up with one lumpy, one empty boot, limping around like a mismatched snowman. Each step was a new adventure in balance, and I'm pretty sure I invented a new style of Arctic shuffle as I tried to keep up with everyone else. The belt is cinched tight. I felt like a colorful, panicked sausage. It's amazing how something so beautiful can also make you feel like you're being gently squeezed by a rainbow python. Breathing became a luxury, but at least I looked the part, sort of. But once dressed, I was finally warm, like wearing a mobile fireplace. The layers, the wool, the reindeer hide, and even the itchy grass all worked together to create a cocoon of warmth that made the Arctic air feel almost inviting. I could finally understand why the Sami have worn these clothes for generations. The Sami wear these clothes with effortless grace. I just shuffled and stumbled. Watching them move across the snow, you'd think they were born in these outfits. Meanwhile, I was just trying not to trip over my own boots or accidentally unravel my belt. Culture isn't a costume, it's lived, not worn. Every stitch, every layer, every tradition has a purpose and a story. I realized that what felt awkward and foreign to me was second nature to them, woven into daily life and identity. Still, for a few hours, I felt part of their world. Sharing laughter, stories, and even a few fashion fails brought us closer together. It was a reminder that sometimes, stepping out of your comfort zone, no matter how silly you look, can lead to the best memories, even if I looked like I'd lost a fight with a sheep. My outfit was a patchwork of wool, grass, and good intentions, but I wore it with pride and a lot of laughter. Fashion is pain, especially with hay in your boots. Every step reminded me that beauty and comfort don't always go hand in hand, but the experience was worth every scratchy moment. But it's worth it for the warmth, and for the stories I'll tell for years to come about my epic, unforgettable battle with a Sami outfit. A week in the Arctic puts American life in perspective. In the US, a Wi-Fi outage is a crisis. Here, it's a blizzard blocking your door. We panic at freezing temps. In the Arctic, that's just Tuesday. The Sami embrace the cold. No bad weather, only bad clothing. Kids play outside in weather that would shut down American schools. Convenience? Forget it. The nearest supermarket is hours away if the roads are open. Here you fix things yourself. No handyman, just resourcefulness. Life moves at the speed of the seasons, not a digital calendar. There's time for work and rest, dictated by light and weather. At first, the slow pace felt frustrating. By the end, it felt sane. It's a life in harmony with the world, not fighting against it. and it's surprisingly empowering. One clear, frigid night, after days of waiting and watching the sky, the northern lights finally appeared, the very reason I'd braved the Arctic winter. I'd read stories about the aurora, seen photos, but nothing could have prepared me for the real thing. The anticipation had built for days, each night spent peering out into the darkness, hoping for a glimpse of that legendary glow. Wrapped in layers, I hiked up a lonely hill, flask of hot chocolate in hand, boots crunching in the snow. The air was so cold it stung my cheeks, but excitement kept me moving. I found a spot away from the village lights, settled in, and waited, breath visible in the icy air. Suddenly, the sky erupted in ribbons of green and purple, swirling and dancing above the silent wilderness. It was as if the universe had decided to put on a private show just for me. The colors shimmered and shifted, painting the snow in otherworldly hues. I stood there, completely mesmerized, feeling both tiny and infinite at the same time. Time seemed to stop. I lost track of everything, my thoughts, the cold, even my sense of direction. The world was reduced to just me and the lights above, and I wandered a little, following the aurora as it shifted across the sky. When the lights finally faded, I looked around and realized I was completely alone, and lost. The vast Arctic night pressed in, silent and endless, and I felt a sudden jolt of fear. My footprints had vanished, erased by the wind and falling snow. I reached for my phone only to find it dead. No map, no light, no help. The isolation was absolute. Panic crept in, tightening my chest. This is how horror movies start, I thought, alone in the Arctic, with only the darkness and my own fear for company. But then I remembered my host's advice. Listen to the land, trust your senses. The Sami people have survived here for generations by paying attention to the world around them. I stopped, closed my eyes and listened. In the distance, I heard the faint, familiar sound of sled dogs barking, their voices carrying across the snow, guiding me like a beacon. Heart pounding, I stumbled through the snow, following the sound. My legs ached, my fingers were numb, but then, through the trees, I saw a warm window light glowing in the darkness, a promise of safety. Relief washed over me as I reached the cabin, greeted by the wagging tails of the dogs and the warmth of home. I'd survived my own foolishness thanks to some noisy dogs, a little luck, and a sky full of magic. The Arctic humbles you, strips away your certainties, but it also rewards you with moments of wonder you'll never forget. It teaches you to respect the land and to respect yourself. Sometimes you just have to trust the land and yourself. Out here you learn to listen, to pay attention, and to let go of control. The northern lights are worth every frozen toe, every wrong turn, and every moment of doubt, because in the end it's the journey and the stories you bring home that matter most. I spent a lot of time listening, stories from elders, laughter from children, and the silence of the land. The Sami culture is built on quiet, ancient wisdom. Watching Reindeer, I learned resilience isn't brute force, it's adapting, moving with the storm. Community is everything, survival here is a team effort. Wealth is measured in relationships, not possessions. Slow knowledge matters. Real understanding comes from experience, not Google. Elders read the land in ways outsiders can't. Respect is central for nature, animals, and each other. The Sami see themselves as part of a web of life, not masters of it. Every action has consequences. It's a lesson the world needs now more than ever. Sometimes, the oldest wisdom is the most relevant. After all the frozen noses, darkness, and fashion fails, would I recommend the Arctic? Absolutely. The most rewarding journeys push you out of your comfort zone, and the Arctic is as far out as it gets. It strips away the non-essentials and shows you the world in its rawest, most beautiful form. Seeing the northern lights is a wonder no photo can capture. The silence, the crunch of snow, the sting of cold, it's a sensory reset. Meeting the Sami is a lesson in resilience and harmony with nature. You'll question your priorities and see the world differently. Pack your warmest clothes, leave your expectations, and prepare to be amazed. Your face might freeze, but your heart will melt, and that's a trade worth making.